Hey, guys, wait up!
Shh, be quiet. The other will find us here and he'll be mad.
Yeah, we're not supposed to be here. There's a ghost around.
Do you really believe that? People say that to scare us, but I heard Grandma say something about a shiny object near the falls.
That must be some kind of treasure. We have to find it. Help! I'm falling! Ah!
Yeah, we gotta go. He dead. There definitely ghosts here now. Get to the podcast. Get to the podcast.
There it is, new sexy.
Hey everybody, I'm Wildfire1. Thanks for joining us. This is Nerds the New Sexy, episode 59. Once again, with me is
Sunrie, the fun guy.
Sunrie, the fun guy.
But not a mushroom.
Today, we're talking about a few things today. And again, This is episode 59. That means we're one episode away from the boss episode, which also means the season finale for season 3.
Yes.
So you've been promising a Nerd Tech review, so...
Nerd Tech.
So I got a new gaming keyboard, which I was talking about last week, and it is the Logitech G910 Orion Spectrum. This thing is fucking badass. It's got all the controls that I had pretty much on the previous one. They're in a little bit different spots, but I actually got more options. I got this to kind of fix a problem that I was running into with the other one. The other one was awesome, but because it was Bluetooth and the way I have everything in here set up, the signal kept disconnecting my keyboard, which is what I used to have problems with before. And so I had to do something. So I bought this. God, it is nice. I have 10 additional buttons outside of the 10 key and everything else that I can program for macros, which is pretty freaking amazing. And there's 3 different selections, so I can program these 10 switches 3 different ways just by pushing different buttons on here. It glows different colors, so I've got it set up so like my WASD is one color, my G keys are a different color, my regular keys are another color. It matches my mouse, which is really kind of cool. Now my mouse is that Razer one that I freaking love. And what's neat is this has what's called an ARX dock release, which I believe stands for Augmented Reality Experience. So certain games, and even my computer, I can Bluetooth to my phone, slap this on my keyboard, and I can monitor stuff in games and monitor my computer settings and stuff like that. It's more keyboard than I'll ever need. And what I really, really like about it is I've got this cool little gaming button that I push, and it locks out my Windows keys and stuff like that, so I don't accidentally Alt-tab myself out.
Oh, I hate that.
By hitting the Start menu button. It locks them out completely. Yeah, it feels good when I type, but freaking amazing. I can turn the lights on and off. Like I said, the keys feel good. They've got a really good response. I believe it's basically a medium setting.
What are some of the more magical features about this keyboard?
More magical features are I can change the layout however I want it as far as the lighting system goes. I can make it look like a explosion of color, which I used to make P-Rock, have a mini seizure, which is freaking hilarious. The 10 additional macro keys that I can program however I want. So let's say this keyboard doesn't have a function that I wanted. Well, I can program one of these G keys to do it. Now let's say, well, maybe when I'm playing a game, I don't want it to do that. Well, then I hit what's called M1 through 3, and it changes what those keys are programmed. So I can be doing video editing and hit one button to open up and save and transport and do different stuff by one button pushes, and then switch over to my gaming profile. And now let's say I'm playing an MMO or something like that, and I want to be able to say follow me or this way, or like on Skyrim, being able to automatically heal and fire off another spell at the same time. I can hit that button and it'll automatically do it for me. Yeah, it's cool as shit. Really cool wheel that controls the volume. It's like this little tiny barrel that's above the numpad with the mute. I have total access to all of my music controls as well, so I don't lose any of that. The other really magical thing about it, I would definitely say, would be that ARX dock, where I can slap my phone into it and get all kinds of information. It will tell me what keys I'm using the most, how hard I've been pushing them, all kinds of stuff. It's pretty cool. It's like, why do you hit escape so much?
Escape! So what would you give this in terms of nerd boners?
Nerd boners, I'm going to have to give this one a freaking hard 9.
Okay.
Yeah, this is probably the best keyboard I've ever had. It's more keyboard than I'm ever going to use, which is what I wanted. Just like my mouse. Hell yeah, I would suggest get it. If you're looking at a good keyboard or a new keyboard, it's definitely a solid buy for me. Good thick USB cord, and it's USB 3.0, so you get immediate response from it. It's nice and fast.
We were going to talk about a few things. I think there's some science news we're going to talk about.
So basically what it is there's been a new Earth-like planet that's been discovered. And it's not Earth-like. Every time someone says Earth-like, we imagine like Earth 2. It's never like that, unfortunately. We always find out, the star that was orbiting is a veritable star or, something like that. And this one is the most promising, quote-unquote, Earth-like, but there's a couple of problems with it. Now, what I'm talking about is LHS 1140. As people may or may not know, that's the star. It's an M4.5 main sequence star. It's a red dwarf, and it's about 1/4,000th time as bright as their sun. It makes the star's habitable zone smaller than what we're in, and the planet LHS 1140b Bravo orbits the star about 9% the distance from the star than the Earth orbits from the sun. It takes about a year to fully orbit, which is like with ours. This planet orbits every 25 days.
So was it like 25 days is a year?
Yes, on this planet, every 25 days is 1 year.
That would be a bitch for birthdays.
It would be. It would be kind of like a shout out to Yeld.
Yes. Shout out to Yeld. I was just talking about that game with a friend today.
As much as Earth-like as they're claiming it is, it's kind of not really. But so basically, what I mean is, what's nice is unlike the last Earth-like planet that we heard, TRAPPIST-1, the star, the planet that was orbiting that, which was, I believe, TRAPPIST-D. D like dog, which had massive solar flares and was a variable star. It rotated every 3 days. This star only rotates in a period of 130 days. So that's good. That means there's not a big solar flare problem. Biggest problem is that it has had a standard deviation in its brightness of about 1.2%. That's in addition to any dimming due to the planet's transits that are orbiting it. The other problem is this planet is incredibly dense, about 2.3 times greater than Earth's density.
Jesus.
Basically, the diameter is 6.6 times that of Earth, so it's huge. It's an incredible 12.5 GM, which is, if you put it on the lower limit, it's about 9. Earth is about 5.5, and that includes Mercury and Venus as well. So when they're talking about how rocky this planet is, it's probably not rock. This thing's probably made out of extremely heavy metals. This thing is like literally, it's so dense that they pretty much have to be kind of cosmically rare. Yeah, so it's not really rocky so much as it is heavy metal.
Like the 80s cartoon.
Yes, and the other problem is the acceleration of gravity on the surface is about 3 times of Earth, and why that's significant is because in the solar system, any kind of planet with that kind of high surface gravity has polyatomic gases, which are greenhouse gases that trap heat from the sun. And if that is true for this planet as well, the temperatures are way, 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 way too high for any kind of liquid water to exist, and neither is any kind of atmosphere that would hold any kind of oxygen as well. Not quite Earth-like when you think about it.
The good news would be this: if you're a Saiyan, that'd be ideal for training.
Yes, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's where Vegeta ended up going Super Saiyan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All that heat would piss me off too.
Yeah, just like the Glias 581. Forgive me for not pronouncing it correctly, which was a variable star. We thought Glias 581d, not TRAPPIST D. Glias 5D. That one was actually the one we thought was Earth-like, and we went, oh yeah, I guess it's not. So we keep hearing about these. Oh, cool, we got an Earth-like planet. Not really.
I think they just want it to be Earth-like. I think
we really do. And look,
it would be nice. It would be nice.
Yeah, I think it would be really cool. Unfortunately, I'm just not seeing that going to happen.
Not in our lifetime, at least.
No.
But we can wish, and if it does happen, things happen. Sometimes surprises come and go. So
yeah.
we'll see. We will see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I would welcome it. I would. I have my own beliefs and stuff like that, but I would think it would be badass to find a planet out there where we can win. If we have this technology, we can get there.
Andromeda.
Mm-hmm.
Andromeda. Oh, man.
My face is tired.
My face is slouching. Oh, that game. Speaking of games, I guess we'll segue on to our main topic.
Yes. If anybody didn't recognize the intro, Secret of Mana.
Yep, that's actually the first part of the script from Secret of Mana, with the exception of the last part.
Seiken Densetsu 2.
Beautiful
as we
game.
knew it.
Well,
Secret of Mana,
yeah,
the first one. Final Fantasy Adventure on the Game Boy is the first Secret of Mana.
Oh, is it?
Yep. Because they were trying to cash in on the popularity at the time.
But if you guys haven't played it, it came out on the SNES, 1993.
Yeah.
It was developed by Squaresoft, which is now well known as Square Enix, because at that time Squaresoft and Enix were two different separate entities.
Yeah, they were kind of rivals.
I want to say Secret of Mana came out about the time of
Illusion of Gaia, also known as Illusion of Time everywhere else in the world.
Yeah, I think
which was a sequel to a game that we never got here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, interestingly enough, it is also a part of the ActRaiser series.
What, Illusion of Gaia is?
Yeah. Yeah. It was Terra Nigma, Illusion of Gaia, which is Illusion of Time, and the first one, Soul Blazer. Okay, so the original game was called Soul Blazer, which is a spiritual connection to the ActRaiser series, also by NX. Now, what's interesting is they used a lot of the assets from ActRaiser. The three games are Soul Blazer, Illusion of Gaia, and Terra Nigma. I don't believe we got Terra Nigma in America, but you can get translations online and stuff like that, and you see people playing it. And in Soul Blazer, you're once again, you're an angel-like avatar who answers to the Master.
Master!
The Master! Good games, but they're all kind of connected, and they were that was the big rivalry between Square and NX at the time. Was you had Secret of Mana, and then you had Illusion of Gaia.
They're really big on RPGs at the time.
Yeah, huge.
And both of them had really good writing. Both of them had really good storyline, and the music. I want to say the music for both games for both game developers were just amazing. So. Oh yeah. I think that Square just had it a little better,
I agree. I think Square really pulled it off, and NX just didn't do as well. But because NX had their hands in so much more, they were able to acquire Square
and pull out more games. So yeah. Seiken Densetsu is how it's pronounced, right?
Yeah,
that's the original name of the Secret of Mana. Of course, it's the Seiken Densetsu 2.
Basically, I believe it means Legend of the Sacred Sword.
Basically a good title for the game because it's about the Mana Sword, and it starts out with, just like we said, just like we spoofed the beginning, it starts out with this kid from a village who goes with two people, one of them being extremely wimpy and the other one being extremely bully-esque. Basically crosses a log or something over a waterfall.
They're going across a waterfall, and there's a log that's going through, and of course the guy's got a sweet freaking bandana and Red Sonja haircut.
Oh yeah.
So he falls, and he ends up fighting the sword because he's actually a descendant of the Mana tribe, and his mother is a tree. Do not ask too many questions. Look, someone fucked a tree, okay? Look, flora, fauna, male, female, sperm, whatever.
Yeah, he's descendant of a tree, obviously, and it goes on to where he falls down this ravine into this, where the waterfall ends, and finds this rusty sword. And it turns out to be the Mana Sword, which is almost the Mana Sword. It summons the Dragon Sword, but it turns out that everyone seems to think, this village seems to think that this sword is cursed.
You're supposed to stay away from there because that area is cursed, and you cannot draw this sword out.
And he happened to get it, and so he pretty much got banished from his village, and So you start on this adventure, and I can't remember where it goes from there. I haven't really. It's been forever since I played.
Yeah, so there's a traveling swordsman that everybody kind of knows and respects, and there's an attack on the village, and he pulls out this rusted sword, and it turns into this really nice sword, and you use it to take down the enemies. Everyone goes, holy crap, he pulled out the cursed sword, now we're all cursed. And so everybody starts to believe the bad things that are starting to happen are because he pulled out the sword and not because this stuff is coming back.
Yeah.
And so they kick his ass out. Your typical early 90s RPG.
Storyline.
Yeah.
Which is, in my opinion, it was one of the first times I've seen that kind of story. So
yeah, you got to remember, this is the early days of RPGs. So a lot of the stuff they do are things from old stories or even old pen and paper RPGs where people would, write their own scenarios and stuff like that. And these are things that are, were common in pen and paper at the time and stuff like that for backstories. But these were the first times we were actually seeing them in game.
Now this is also a first for. I mean, we've seen it before, but this is probably the first time it's worked. Where you've seen an action role-playing game where it wasn't turn-based.
Yes, on home consoles at least.
Yes, on home consoles.
Yeah.
Where it was more like, in fact, I want to call this Chrono Trigger 1.0.
Well, Chrono Trigger was still turn-based.
A lot of the animation and the walking around sequences and even how
okay, I'll give you that.
Is based off of this game.
Yeah, and what I like is this is one of the first action RPGs on a console.
Oh yeah, and it was beautiful. They did really well on it, and like we said, it wasn't turn based. It was very fun and it worked, and I think that was great. There's a shit ton of story in this game and a lot of side quests. In early RPGs, it almost reminds me of like Skyrim.
Yeah, a little bit.
As far as you're going from place to place helping all these people and at the same time going through the story. It wasn't as open world-ish as Skyrim. But it was open world-ish.
Very, very traditional RPG in the sense that you could wander into an area you were not prepared for.
Yeah, you'd get your ass handed to you.
Yeah, and people, I know that there's games like Xanadu and stuff like that. I like I said, this is one of the first, in Crystal, you have Chrysalis on the NES and stuff like that, which was a true action RPG, not like Legend of Zelda, which really is more of an adventure game. But we won't get into that debate, stuff like that. But yeah, for playability and stuff like that, it really was this and in Final Fantasy Gaiden, also known as Final Fantasy Adventure here, were like some of the first action RPGs on a console.
Now, one of the good things about this, and I don't think a lot of people realize this, especially when it first came out, this game, it used this cooperative multiplayer system where if you picked up the second controller and pushed a button, you could play as one of the other characters.
Which is just fun, because at the time, couch co-op was like everything.
Yes. I mean, there was no online multiplayer, because online didn't exist for the most part.
Yep. You could, because there was three characters, you could be any of the three characters. So at any point, like let's say you're tired of being the hero and you need to use the fairy, you can switch over to the sprite. And then the person who's playing girl, the girl goes, oh no, I don't want to play the girl, I'm going to play the hero right now. And so you can constantly swap through them. And even at single player, you can do that. Yeah. But it was really fun doing it two players, because you can get into areas that you weren't supposed to get to yet and stuff like that, which was awesome.
Yeah. And I believe it was called the sprite.
Yeah, Sprite.
Yeah, which was hilarious. Because no one knew if that was male or female. Which I always thought was
a girl. I guess it's a boy.
Well, for the longest time, they just left it in the air. No one knew if that was male or female. And I thought it was female, too. I thought he was surrounded by chicks. Too. Of course, it was one of the games that hit the 16-bit era, which is great. It had the top-down perspective, which was pretty awesome. I think that at the time that was almost like what we expected from these games,
Yes.
We got a lot of that from like Final Fantasy and stuff like that. I don't know if we got to name the girl. Did the girl have a name? Or was she just called Girl?
Yeah, we were able to name the characters.
Moving on. This is another thing. One of the beautiful things is you don't have to use the sword. I believe you could use any weapon you wanted to, right?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So certain characters always had access to certain ones. Like I don't believe as the hero you could use the whip, but the girl could use the whip. You could. Oh no, you're right. You could use any weapon at any time.
Yeah.
So, But if one person had it equipped, the other people couldn't have it equipped. Certain characters were better with certain weapons because they could attack with them more accurately or fast. I remember one of my favorite weapons was definitely the gauntlets, because if you charged it up all the way to the maximum level, you would throw a Hadouken.
Yeah, and they would be. You could charge. The more you used them, the more you leveled up on them, and the better you got with them, the better they were.
Yep.
And yeah, you could throw a Hadouken. You got better skills. It was really cool. The girl I always equipped with a bow and arrow.
Yes, me too. I would eventually give her the spear and the sprite, either the whip or the chakram.
And then the game had this ring command where you bring up and you could go through the magic and go through whatever prompts you want to go. Mm-hmm. It was really cool.
So basically what it is, there's an ancient legend that this evil is going to come back. There was a cataclysm that the Mana tribe prevented a long time ago, and they're kind of watching over the world as giant trees and plants. Again, don't think too much of it.
Yeah.
Basically, the men were weapons and the women were trees.
Look at it this way: the women could change into women from trees. Look at that.
From trees, and the men could turn into weapons from. Men, and vice versa. Yeah, so just don't go from there.
Yeah,
just go from there. Yeah. I mean, this is a game with dragons, so
yeah, they fly upside down.
Yeah,
too damn funny.
So these things are starting to come back. The hero pulls the sword just in time, because that's what heroes do. He ends up finding a girl, finding a sprite, and they go off to destroy
the last sprite. Right?
Yeah, the last sprite. Yeah. Who ends up, spoiler alerts, dying.
Yeah.
And
which was really sad for
fucking depressing.
Young me to go through.
It was actually depressing. And they end up having to destroy this evil tower that makes the Mana Beast go crazy, so they have to kill the last Mana Beast as well.
Which happens to be their Mana Beast, I believe.
Yeah, which happens to be their Mana Beast. So basically
they literally gotta kill their dog that went rabid because of this fucking tower.
Yeah, and so after destroying the Mana Beast and the tower, the world is saved.
Which, by the way, the music was composed by, and if I horribly pronounce this, just forgive me, Hiroki Kakuta.
Yes, and damn good soundtrack. I don't think there's a song in that game I don't like.
And I think Kinji Ito was another one. But yeah, they did a lot of good music in this game. It really relaxing, and some of them, like some of the music you heard at the beginning, is very, very relaxing song, and the action songs were fucking amazing. Everything just fit, and it was great. And it's half of what makes this game so iconic. I guess there was a few re-releases of this game.
Yeah, it is actually available on Android right now for I think $8 or $9 or something like that. You can get on the iPhone as well. It's a good game. Definitely play it. But what I think one of the things that stuck with me the most was not only being able to see Mode 7 used as effectively as it was, because I had played Illusion of Gaia and stuff like that, and it was cool with the map rotation, but being able to like fly around on that dragon and have two different views where you could be behind the dragon or you could be on top of the dragon looking down, which was really cool.
Yes.
Which I loved in that whole Mode 7. And yes, there are modes 1 through 7, and they all do different things, and some of them weren't used because there was no need to, or they're only used here and there, and you just don't know about it. But yeah, it was pretty cool. One of the things that I said stuck with me was not only that, but the main mode of travel before the dragon. You got shot out of a fucking cannon.
Oh yeah, you got shot out of a cannon by a fucking dwarf named Watts, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that. That was fucking cool.
Yes, the cannon travel service, and just shoot your ass.
You basically, I don't know if you paid, but in my opinion, I think you would pay. It's a travel service, like a taxi. You basically paid to get shot out of a fucking cannon and possibly die. So,
but I mean, luckily you never died, but.
Yeah, but this game had the typical levels, the snow level, the mountain level, and all this other areas you got to go, and the magic, the magic also had a level system, almost like the weapons did. So the stronger the magic
more
got,
you used it.
the stronger the magic got, the more powerful it got. And it was and the magic was based off of they're elementals. That's what they were.
Yes, elementals.
Elementals.
They're old school things like salamanders, undine, stuff like that. Shade. Yep. And you had to free them from the different palaces to get access to them. And then the more you use those spells, like Wild was saying, the stronger they became. Just like the weapons, the more you use that same weapon, the stronger it got.
And the last level of the weapons and the magic was just insanity. It was just beautiful.
Oh yeah, you just beat the shit out of everything. And this game did not have any kind of invulnerability frames. No. So if you hit something and you could get the timing down where you would hit and hit and hit or cast and cast and cast, you would constantly do damage to the enemies.
Especially if you're playing two players. You know,
yes.
One person
can fuck them up. And the problem with that is you would also have that happen to you from time to time. Now, luckily, the game didn't abuse it, but you would take 5-6 hits in a row at times.
Yeah, and you'd be like half dead and shit.
And there's nothing you can do about it because your character lays there, flashes, and then goes, ugh, and then lays there and flashes and goes, ugh, and then lays there and flashes and goes, ugh.
At one point, like, say if you wanted to use magic, the game would pause for, like, everyone, right?
Right.
So that was kind of a frustration, but because you got to wait for them to do their magic. Like, say me and Sunrie were playing, and I wanted to use one of my magic spells. I had to push the button, like L1 or whatever, and it would pop up, and the game would freeze. It would almost pause, and until I was done with that. Yeah,
because it would pause everything, and the wheel would come up, and then that person would make the selection, and then they would attack. Yeah. And you'd have to wait until the selection was made and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then if you wanted to if you wanted your buddy to do it, they do it too, and it was cool in its own way, but it was also kind of a pain because it took more time. So let's move into some of the weirdness, some of the little the little strange things of this game that you may or may not have seen when playing it, if those of you who love Secret of Mana like we do.
One of the things that I always remember about this, and Wild always makes jokes about it, wanting to do a recreation of this, even live action, just to show how odd things can be. When you talk to people and they're hanging out in town, they walk in place.
They're just walking in place.
They just walk in place. Their little legs are going, and they're just standing there bouncing up and down with their legs going.
Well, it's great because it goes with the music. And their legs are just going. Their arms and legs are going like they're power walking in place. So like, I'm losing weight, guys. No, I'm an invisible treadmill, and it's hilarious, And and this is another one of those games where you can just go in anyone's house and take what the fuck you wanted to without them saying shit. It was so funny. The face on Mars appears on the map.
Yes, that's right.
That was one of the things I remember mostly from this is that.
I remember seeing it flying over and going, they put that in there.
Mm-hmm. The overworld map. And I always thought it was like something you could do with it, but it was just there. It was just like, hey guys, wink, wink.
Mm-hmm.
Square was good about that. I guess they did it in Final Fantasy IV as well, which is 2 in America.
I remember seeing that and thinking that was kind of cool. Seeing Moogles and not knowing what they were.
Yeah, was this the game that introduced Moogles? I can't remember.
To the U.S. it is.
Yeah, Moogles were definitely a big thing. There was some hidden nudity in this game, actually.
I don't remember ever seeing it, but it's got to be there because apparently there was the National Scar was called the porno book of the Japanese version, and sure as shit, there's a naked chick on the cover. I mean, you don't really see anything, but that's obviously what it is. She's got a heart coming out of her ass.
Yeah, she's farting a heart. Yeah, thank you, Japan.
Yeah, and it's one of those where you have to keep turning the page to see it.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those where there's a chance to see it. It's not a guarantee. Yeah. But yeah, I had no idea. And this is before the whole thing with the ESRB and stuff like that. So nobody was checking this shit.
Here's a funny. There's some cameos here. Here's a funny. The first cameo would definitely be Santa Claus. Santa Claus is in the game, guys.
Yep.
He's definitely in the game.
I've never, after all these years, I have never actually fought Santa Claus in that game.
Could you fight Santa in the game?
Yep. No. If you find Rudolph, you can actually fight Santa.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Why would you want to fight Santa Claus?
Why would you not? Maybe he didn't bring you a present you wanted.
I guess. You know what? You got a sword in the beginning of the game. That's a present.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but Santa didn't give it to you.
Or did he? So there's also, here's a nice little reference. There's a character here in the game who happens to be bald. His name is Picard.
Yes.
I don't think he had a big part of the game, but it was kind of cute. He was bald, and so maybe one of these the game makers here was a Star Trek fan.
Oh yeah.
Maybe.
The only thing he didn't say is make it so.
Yeah. Which he should have.
Well, then there's also at one point, when you inspect like these computer type things, one of them says, "Who was Abe Lincoln?" That's correct. That makes you our new champion, which is a reference to Jeopardy, and kind of suggests that maybe this is way, 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 way in the future after some kind of apocalyptic event on Earth. I mean, it's more than likely just an Easter egg to make people laugh. There's also an interesting one where it says, "Evening news. At dawn, Lorima launched missiles at the Empire," which is a reference back to the original game. Which we know as Final Fantasy Adventure. Lormia does not exist in Secret of Mana, so that means the Empire ultimately won. There's also a chance that the advanced civilization spoken of in the intro to this game is the ancient city, is all that's left of Lorima.
Here's some interesting stuff here. Is that the main characters from this game, and if you look at them and you look at Chrono and Marl, the two characters from Chrono Trigger, they resemble each other quite closely.
Oh yeah.
That's another reason why I say this is Chrono Trigger 1.0. Of course, it came out long before Chrono Trigger, so don't get me wrong, guys. I want to even go on a limb and say without this game, there would be no Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, and what another thing that's interesting that kind of ties it to another game is when you're in the ruins of the ancient city, there's a subway in a train car where it has a bunch of zombies in it, which is very reminiscent of Final Fantasy VI, which we knew was 3, which was a car full of the dead, for the train car anyway.
Oh yeah, there was an island that looked like a turtle. You remember that?
Yeah, and then when you fly over it, it actually does look like a turtle shell.
The game itself, it ended sadly. Of course, you lose your sprite, and it's because pretty much magic is dead after you kill the mana beast. You pretty much kill magic.
Yeah, you pretty much make the world by saving the world, you actually make the world a miserable place to live, which is horrifying because this entire time you are trying to save the world and do everything, but you find out that literally by stopping this, you are actually going to wreck the world, which is nuts.
So you end up killing. What? I guess he or she. I guess it's a he in the long run. He knew that he was gonna die, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do this anyway." So, but it's just fucked up because I think I remember the end of it. You kind of saw its soul.
Yep.
In a tree, and I'm like, "No, you don't exist."
Yeah.
But the game.
If you believe in fairies, clap your hand.
But the game itself was a very good game. This is one of those games that's 9.5 nerd boners. If you guys,
easily.
And this could very well be nostalgia talking because I love this game. I played this. I rented it a lot, and then I finally bought it, and it's just
how many times did I borrow this from you?
Oh, plenty of times. This was one of those games that I just beat and played and beat and beat. It was just great. It's a fun game, and I would, those of you who like playing some retro games and get into that shit and haven't played this game, I would say go out and buy this game or play this game. Find a ROM, whatever you got to do. Play this game. It's worth it. It's a fun game. It's literally, in my opinion, Chrono Trigger 1.0.
I would say so. I've read there is a Secret of Mana collection being released on the Twitch. Now, right now, it's only in Japan, which pisses me off. Yeah, fuck Square. God damn it. I thought you learned your lesson. I thought you were going to give us shit that we're going to give you money for.
Well, Square knows.
I know.
They're just slowly putting the tip in, is what they're doing.
I hope so because they're being really quiet on whether there's going to be an American release on this. And god damn it, do it because it's going to be the first, second, and third game. We've never gotten the third game here. I remember all the fucking magazines coming out at the time, the Nintendo Powers and everything like that, talking about the new Secret of Mana, the Secret of Mana 2, and you were able to choose your characters and everything like that.
Instead we got Legend of Mana, and that was
Instead we got Legend of Mana.
It was good, but it wasn't. It wasn't Secret of Mana. It was Legend of Mana. It wasn't.
And to this day, I'm not exactly sure what the fuck is going on in Legend of Mana. Now, okay,
it's a drug trip.
I get the game is supposed to be you are rebuilding the world.
Yeah, I want to say it's almost
quote,
like
unquote,
after what happened in the first game, after you fucking
and it's kind of quote unquote make your own adventure. And I actually think Legend of Mana might be a prequel.
It could be.
It came out in 1999. It was supposed to, and it was a direct sequel.
For the
and it came out on
PS1, I believe. PS1.
Yeah. Again, not a horrible game, but
confusing as all fuck.
Yeah.
They introduced all these characters and you had no fucking clue who they were. Like they're like talking to you like you should know who they are, and I'm like, no.
Yeah. I mean, it was an attempt to create a non-linear gameplay because you could make stuff in anywhere that you kind of wanted to and stuff like that. And the main character and the sidekicks all had their own numerical attributes for HP, strength, and luck, and they grow whenever the player gains level. It was not all that great because it did not have a lot of structure. You did not really give a shit. And apparently, no, it was not a prequel. It was a sequel at some point in the lifespan of the world of that was established for the Secret of Mana franchise as FADL. This has to be a prequel because fairies, humans, and other creatures were fighting over what mana was left.
See, they could literally they could have literally made this a sequel to Secret of Mana and said it's the world restarting itself, and that would have worked. But instead, they just left it in the air. I mean, I beat the game. I still didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, it tried and it just failed.
The game was a drug trip. It was entertaining. Yeah. It was cute. There was points in the game where like, oh, this is cool. This story I'm kind of into. And it was episodic. But you play through it and you'd meet someone and then something would appear on the screen like episode whatever Mughals in the day. Something like that. It was fun. It was entertaining. It just wasn't Secret of Mana, and that's what we were expecting.
Yeah, and I was very disappointed with it at that point. Yeah, like I said, like you're saying, it wasn't bad. It just wasn't all that great.
Well, we had a high bar. We were expecting something fucking amazing. Especially for next gen.
Right.
And we got good graphics. But we got no story. And after a story like Secret of Mana, you just don't give us nothing.
Yeah, and Sword of Mana came out later, and that was on the Game Boy Advance. And again, that was another one of those I played, and I was so fucking confused. It's basically, I think what it's supposed to be is a remake of Final Fantasy Adventure, which is the original, because there's a lot that suggests it. But at the same time, it doesn't seem to be the exact same, but I think that's what it was supposed to be, is that Sword of Mana was supposed to be a remake of the original Mana game. And then you had Children of Mana and Dawn of Mana and Heroes of Mana. I can't speak for Children of Mana. I never played it. It was a DS game.
Neither have I.
It's mainly a dungeon crawler, so it's kind of like Diablo. And it does take place in FADL again, and it's split into the 5 continents. So this happens after the Legend of Mana.
Okay.
But it happens before Secret of Mana because Lorimar is still around. Basically, the mana tree cracks and it completely destroys the reality and causes space shifting. Dawn of Mana was on the PlayStation 2. Never ever played it.
No.
Yeah, it was the first time it was in a fully three-dimensional world, though. Apparently it was meh. It was kind of like Dark Cloud.
Oh, okay.
In a lot of respects. So, just okay. Heroes of Mana, I never played it, but that was on the DS as well. This one goes back to a top-down perspective. The second screen shows the map and your current progress. It's from what I can tell, it's a turn-based strategy like Final Fantasy Tactics.
Okay.
So again, never really applied to me because I don't really like those games. Rise of Mana came out in 2014. It is an action role-playing game, but it's for the, what is this on? Oh, iOS, so Android, PlayStation Vita. Never played it, don't know really much about it. But again, 3/4 head view. It takes place in the same world. It looks like it takes place after Secret of Mana 3.
So no clue.
Yeah. No clue. Then there's Adventures of Mana that came out in 2016, which again, another fucking.
See, I get so excited when I hear a game of mana in it. And
yeah, but Adventures of Mana is a complete once again retelling of the first game. It's a complete remake, and it was on the Vita, it was on Android, and it was on Apple. And then 2017 is the is the Seiken Densetsu collection, which I don't know if we're gonna get it.
Look at it from Square Enix's point of view. This is a franchise that they may have fucked over.
Yes.
You know, they might be going, you know, we've given the players shits for so many years. Maybe we shouldn't put this out in America because they're just gonna see shit. But of course, if they give me a remake of Secret of Mana, I'm gonna fucking buy it.
Yeah, I will too. Like I said, I like a whore on free condom day. I will be all over it.
Fuck yes. Yeah, there's a lot of, and that's the thing. There's a lot of nostalgic beauty in this game, and because I know it brings out the kid in me because I remember playing it when I was a kid. And it was fucking amazing. Maybe we'll do a let's play on this eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I love the fact that we can do that now. That's one of the things that I'm looking forward to. We are going to be doing a lot of cool stuff here coming up.
So what do you give this as far as nerd boners, this game?
You know, I would say, you know, Secret of Mana overall, it's come down to about a 7 just because of all the crap. I would say the remake of the true remake of the original Final Fantasy Adventure and stuff like that, I would say, and the original Secret of Mana. I've played Secret of Mana 3 through emulations and stuff like that.
As have I.
Yeah, I would say the original Secret of Mana, I would give a good solid 8, maybe a 9. The Final Fantasy Adventure, I would give, I'd give that one about 7.5 and 8. And Seiken Densetsu 3, a little confusing.
Very confusing. You give it too much credit.
I would say about a 6 or a 7.
It's a good game, and again, it could be nostalgia talking because this game, I could sit down and play it and just be like, oh, I remember playing this, you know. So
yeah, I rented that so often, then Wild had it, so I borrowed it a lot.
If you didn't get sad, you know, at the end of this game, just a little sad, you had no soul. So
yes. But
I think with that said and done, I think we're done with the episode. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Boss episode coming up here soon, and some projects in the wings. I'm starting on. I know we keep saying that, but I don't want to blow my load all over everything just yet.
Well, we got plans. We've been talking about some stuff, and True Colonel and I have got some plans. I know Sunrie and I have got some plans. So there's some shit going on. If you're wondering what happened to Gambit, we don't know. I think he's dead.
He may be dead.
He may be dead.
I haven't even seen that. I haven't even seen him online, but I haven't been online too much lately anyway because of work. And one thing, we discussed it last week about Big Trouble in Little China. One of the things P-Rock said he wanted to see remade. So let's throw up a quick clip of that.
But Big Trouble in Little China is one of my all-time desired ones to see a slot for slot, take for take remake.
I'm with P-Rock on that one. I would like to see a remake of Big Trouble. That's why I did the intro.
I love Jack Burton's freaking character. I think it's Jack Burton, right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love his character.
That's Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. I don't know who else they would be able to get to play that role. I really don't.
You know, they would end up just casting The Rock.
Oh, that'd be good. I could accept that.
I could accept that too.
All right, see right there. See, that's what we're talking about. So, found out The Rock had been talking about doing a remake of Big Trouble in Little China. He said he would talk to John Carpenter. He said he would talk to Kurt Russell. Apparently, he has not. But from what I'm reading, because of the backlash, he has put this on hold. So don't expect him to just throw some shit out there trying to cash in on nostalgia. He really does seem like he wanted to respect it, and because people gave him a lot of crap for it, he's kind of saying, I'm not going to do it right now. That's why I haven't talked to anybody.
But when and if it does come out, ladies and gentlemen, remember, you heard it here first.
Next week, I should have a nerd review on Alien Covenant. I haven't had a chance to see it yet. I forgot it came out.
Is it out?
It came out on the 4th.
I know Guardians of the Galaxy is out too, and I heard it's amazing.
I'm gonna go see Alien Covenant with with cuteness. I will have a review for it. Yeah.
I didn't know it came out, to be honest with you. I said before, I'll say it again. If they fuck it up, I'm done with you, Alien movies.
Yeah.
I'm done with you.
Yeah, this will be the last one if they fuck this up.
Yeah, but like we said, guys, we have a lot of stuff in the works after episode 60 of season finale. And when we do that, we'll definitely come back stronger than ever with a lot more ideas. Anything you want to say, Sunrie?
Yeah, just stay sexy, damn it.
All right, everyone. We'll see you next week on episode 60, boss episode. Stay sexy.
Stay sexy.